Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the winner Week of Indonesia Netherlands Education Research 2023 event, especially in our session Leaving No One Behind, promoting health equity in rural and marginalized area, lesson learned from Indonesia. Welcome to our interesting topics. As you know, health equity is a global issue crucial for achieving overall population health for all. It aligns with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, particularly Goal Number 3. Health disparities lead to gaps in health outcomes, increased morbidity, mortality, and reduced quality of life. Rural and marginalized communities face barriers such as remoteness, limited resources, and socioeconomic disadvantage in accessing healthcare. By addressing disparities in healthcare access and outcomes, we can strive for an equitable and inclusive society where everyone has the chance for optimal health. I'm Wahyu Puji Nugraheni, Head of Public Health and Nutrition Center, National Research and Innovation Agency. I will be your moderator for this session. This session will run for 75 minutes. It is both an honor and a privilege to guide us through this engaging and insightful gathering. Before we are starting the events, I will introduce our speaker first. And all of speaker is researcher from Rural and Marginal Research Group. The first speaker is Dr. Roy Massey. He is a senior researcher that has many experience doing research and development in public health setting, especially in rural areas, health system planning and development programs, social determinant of health, and complex emergencies in health in public health. He has been involved in various projects related to health system and policy in a small island and outermost area Indonesia, particularly in collaboration with national and international institutions. In this session, he will present the result project Community Health Needs in Small Island, a case study in Gangga Island, West Likupang, North Minahasa District, North Sulawesi Province, Indonesia. And the second speaker is Ibu Rahmalina Surahman, MSc She is senior researcher and also a health anthropologist. She has conducted a lot of health research and on marginalized group, including indigenous health. Her recent research interests include environmental health, medical anthropology, including medical ethnography, community-based participatory action research, particularly in public health, rural marginal health, maternal and newborn health. Our interest in this field of study came from the idea that Indonesia has thousands of unique traditional behaviors from various ethnic groups and marginalized community, and health promotion should be approached by using local specific program. In this session, she will present the result project, advocate program of healthy traditional houses Umekebubu in Timor community, an example of community engagement study. And the third speaker is Dr. Ofeli Senewe. He is a senior researcher at BRIN, a doctor, and has done a lot of research in remote outermost area, especially on infectious disease. He has worked on various projects regarding communicable and non-communicable diseases in collaboration with numerous health institutions across Indonesia. Currently, he is coordinating a study on the health status in disadvantaged region in Indonesia and serve as the resource person in the Indonesian tuberculosis inventory study. In this session, he will present the result project community empowerment in preventing and controlling malaria in Central Bangka, Indonesia, using Violar facet approach. All the speakers have been allocated 15 minutes for their presentation and 5 minutes for Q&A. However, for the sake of effectiveness, we will collect all questions and conduct the Q&A session at the end of the session. Okay, I would like to invite our first speaker, Dr. Roy Masi. He will discuss the real problem in the outcomes area. Dr. Roy, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wahyu, for allowing me to present my study in North Sulawesi. I think I believe most of all have been in small island in the world. From here, it's pretty close to Kepulauan Seribu, so there's plenty of small island here in Jakarta. So I'm going to present my study about community health need in small island. I took a case study in Gang Island, West Likupang, North Minahasa District, North Sulawesi Province. Later, I will explain where the island of Ganga lie on. Next, please. The outline of my presentation is background, the question, the objective, methodology, result and discussion, and conclusion. And the end of my presentation, it will be a recommendation. Indonesia, as we know, it is the largest archipelago country, and then consists of 5 main islands, and it's about 17,500 islands, and there is 15,600 are inhabitants, and the number of small island is about around 13,000 more. And there are 146 small island inhabitants, and they are very dependent on the sea. The definition of small island is still vary up to now, but there's a law of this country, number 27 of 2007, concerning management of coastal area and small islands. Say that small island is an island with an area smaller than or equal to 2,000 kilometers square. That's the definition from according to the law, number 27. So people who live on small island, of course, exposed of the health risk. Housing condition, of course, very crowded and unmeet the health requirement. Easy to become infected by vector and disease agent, of course. Access to health care of community is hindered by the geography, change of the weather, and great wave seasons. They are also far distance from the health facility and health provider. The health policy and direction for providing health service in that particular area were already presented. However, the data of the health need to those people, particularly from public sector perspective, were limited. Assessing the health need, it is important to know not only what the community need, but also what they mean, how and why they need it. For example, whether they need are determined by themselves, or what we call felt and expressed needs, or by height matter, or what we call comparative, and by expert, as we know, normative need. So recognizing the different type of community health need will assist in the development of health policy and program in both public and private sector, including support the health policy maker in utilization the resources effectively and appropriately, for example, in planning, implementing, and effective of health services. The question of the study is what are the basic health needs felt and expressed by community on the small island, and then how the existence of service and disbursement of public sector program, particularly on several health service that are offered by public sector, such as eradication, infection, disease, and MCH, family planning, and of course medication. That's the question. The objective of this study is to analyze the primary data from the survey, including to describe in depth the felt and expressed health need. And there is a literature review also. This case study conducted in 2 villages on Ganga Island, as I mentioned before. The island, it's somewhere in the peninsula of North Sulawesi, peninsula of the Sulawesi Island, Indonesia, and then up north. And there you can see in the slide, my slide presentation, it is somewhere in a cluster of island. You can see that. There's a Ganga Island, as written on the screen. The methodology, it's the conceptual framework focused on the health need pertaining to basic health need, of course, provided by public sector. This study uses a qualitative method through in-depth interview and focus group discussion to selected respondent. The design is descriptive cross-sectional. There are several reasons why this study using qualitative method. First, it is hoped that there will be a study of finding using for a scientific method, better known as triangulation, or to confirm and justify the finding. And the second is the health need can be explored in depth. Sampling was carried out in two stages, namely sampling of head family, and then this was done randomly by paying attention to the number of residents in the village. And then there is 130 households were selected. The result and discussion: geography, population, public infrastructure, and health facility. North Minahasa district has 46 islands, and there are 6 island inhabitants, including Ganga Island. Accessibility to reach Ganga Island by using sea transport by wooden boat. Also, it takes 1 hour from the capital city of the sub-district. The area of this island is about 1.8 kilometers square and has 2 villages, namely Ganga 1 village and Ganga 2 village. And then the population is about 2,500 more people, whereas Ganga 1 village, it's about 693 people, and Ganga 2, around 873 people. The main livelihood of resident is fishing, but some resident as a trader and farmer. The public facility infrastructure available are still relatively minimal. The lighting facility using generator are still limited. Only night up to midnight. Road facilities, residential area are paved road, and there are education facilities exist, the elementary school and junior school that belong to public sector. And the existing health service are auxiliary health center, village health post, and 7 post units. Clean water facility are very difficult to obtain. There are only 2 few community well that can be used as drinking water. So I'm doing now. Access to health service can be interpreted as the possible of people on getting health service where they need it. The challenge of health service are quite significant in this area due to the geographical condition and climate change, which are often very extreme. And of course, the limited access to complete health service facility located in main island. Moreover, that's important. Interest of health worker to work in that island is very low. That is proven even though there is a healthy facility, they are not function because health workers are not interested in living in this island. Another situation is the health medical equipment. It's not complete. The result and discussion, I can see the percentage of the respondent who sought help from their health service at the first time they suffer from an illness. Can see that they trip the presentation mostly they trip by themselves, or they went to health facility in Puskesmas, but they have to take a boat, took 1 hour from island to the main, from that island to the main island, and also they also went to the clinic. Where's the fund come from, or the financial support? So mostly from out of pocket, so they pay by themselves, and then there is also BPJS, and then there is a private sector to help them. And then this is important for a pregnant woman. Where's the pregnant woman find the health facility? Mostly they went to the Puskesmas. Mostly they went to the Posyandu and then Puskesmas. So you can imagine that from island they went to the Puskesmas, which is lay on the capital city, which is in the main on the main island. So still takes an hour by boat. For times examination the health pregnancy, it's mostly more than 4 times. So what about the contraception? Mostly they use pill. The health environment situation, the habit of urinating and defecating is still often done on the beach, and clean water obtained by the people themselves, in the sense that they get water from the duck well, although it's clean, but the water quality is low because mixed with the seawater. But mostly the source of drinking water obtained from the mainland. So they have to travel by boat to get the drinking water. This is quite interesting also in this village, particularly in the Gangga Satu village, specifically for pig and goats. They are only released in a residential area without being caged, so that the livestock can freely go in and out the yard or even in the house. Health needs are not automatically translate to demand for health service. However, determined by the pattern of disease suffered by in each individual is important. Professional health workers at least reside with the community, because it is important for health workers to understand the culture, language, and habit, so the community can meet their need, particularly they need. From the outer point of view, understanding of basic health needs are needed for health program and service in order to maintain life and the level of productivity of the person as well as society, those live in the small island. The district health system at district level, especially for covering small islands such as management, human resource, equipment, finance, are poor, making it difficult to improve health service, particularly to meet the health needs. People living on small island are very limited in meeting their need for health service. So understanding the health need of the community is very necessary in order to fulfill the need for health service to improve their status. The health needs of the people on Gangga Island had not been met based on what they felt and expressed need. The health service available from the public sector is very limited, exacerbated by health human resources who do not live in the island of this community. Health need assessment is a process of identifying and understanding the excess local population, in this case, people who are living on small island. It is hoped that the planning and delivery of health service provided by public sector can be referred on evidence-based. Recommendation: it is important to strengthening the health district system. Understanding the health need by health service provider should be improved through training. Provided water through processing brackish water or desalination into drinking water. Increase health promotion, and also motivating to provide incentive for health workers so to live along the community, and conducting training to the TBA. Thank you for the opportunity from the moderator. So I hope there will be a question or clarification from the audience, either from here or from Daring and Luring. I will back to moderator for my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, Thank you, Dr. Roy Masi. Very interesting presenting. Continuing our discussion on health problem in marginalized regions, our second speaker is Ibu Rahmalina Surahman. She will present her research project on maternal health intervention using a local approach. Let's pay close attention to this fascinating project, Dr. Rahmalina. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Dr. Wahyu. It's honor for me to be here to present my study. I will present my study about the advocate program of healthy traditional houses, Umekebubu in Timor community, an example of community engagement study. It's between the relationship between culture and health. Next. Yeah, next. So, the emphasis of my study is behavioral change of Umekebubu from the traditional houses into the traditional healthy houses. And at the left side is the traditional houses, and the right side is the healthy Umekebubu. Next. As we talk about the traditional, we cannot move from the relationship. We should understand the relationship of culture and health, because culture can directly affect health by diet, by food tradition of community, and indirectly knowing that the definition that culture places on health and illness will determine their compliances, attitude toward our attempt of health promoting activities. Next. So, before I start more deeply, I will talk about the background of my study. As we know, altogether that Indonesia is a large and regional diverse country with more than over hundred or thousands ethnic groups. One of those ethnic group is Timor community in East Nusa Tenggara. They have a common traditional practice for a newborn baby and her or his mother to spend their 40 days at the traditional houses, which called Umekebubu, for getting smoke tradition, known as Sei. It literally means smoke. During that 40 days period, a traditional wooden biomass stove would be continually burned in order to make the houses feel warm all the time. Having inadequate ventilation system at the traditional house, such practice safe tradition lead to high level of indoor air pollution and a poor of brightness, which present a high risk of health status of the mother and babies. So my presentation aims to emphasize the issues and to advocate the changing behavior to a healthy traditional practice. Next. Yeah, my study framework consisted of two phases. The first one is identification of the issues, and the second one is participatory action research by conducting social and behavioral intervention. So this time in this site, I will more talk deeply in the phase two. Next. So in this study, I use a theory of behavior change by using division of innovation theory. It focuses on innovation as an agent of behavioral change. In this study, the innovation is an idea of healthy traditional house as an agent of behavioral changes that is communicated through certain channels over time among the community members of a social system. It involves consultation with local institutions in terms of promotion, socialization, and also on advocacy. Furthermore, the stakeholders were facilitated and encouraged action program by involving the wider community was implemented by transforming the old traditional houses into the healthy Umekebubu. Next. Yeah. So what is the method of my study? The method of my study, as I said before, is conclude and consists of two phases. Phase one is identification of the issues by conducting questionnaire interview, in-depth interview, observation, indoor air pollution measurement, and then the second phase is more action research. So there is several action that is conducted in the phase 2, such as interview with local officer, in-depth interview, roundtable discussion, developing media or intervention, and health intercommunication communication media. Next. So this is the involvement of stakeholders. This is very important. Several stakeholders we meeting together. We process of intersectoral meeting, coordinating together to be involved in this action. Next. And the second one is the second activity is community engagement by conducting training of trainee. After the facilitator being chosen, we conducted training of trainee by community leader, local midwife, and health worker. So the output of this activity is facilitator equalization of perception to the media, composed follow-up from each facilitator of a community empowerment. Next, please. Yes, this is so this is the media, the leaflet that we have built, developed, maternal health promotion leaflet. The forward side and the backward side, we use the local language to be more easily understood by the community. Next. Yeah, and then the next activity is implementation phase, which is media maker partnership process. We use the networking result. It has been agreed that media is going to be used by the facilitator. But of course, the message should be simple and using local language, as I said before. Furthermore, a healthy traditional houses design will be created by the local community leader. Next. So the counseling about the effect of CE to the health and PAR and conducted by community leader, community health center, and officer, and the owner of Umeka Bubu. Next, please. Yeah. So this is our intervention, a healthy Umeka Bubu, which built by the community leaders, and then which built the community and the community leaders. The left side is the outside of the Umeka Bubu, which is as we can see here, there are two windows and door, and then the inside is more designed by floor. Next one. Yeah, and this is the inside of a traditional Umeka Bubu, which is we can see here the indoor air condition inside this Umeka Bubu, and also the prenatal mother with her baby in say tradition, and along their tradition, the mothers eat bose porridge that as you can see that mothers during food make it inside the Umeka Bubu. Next, please. So, what is the lesson learned of my study? The study indicates that Sei tradition perceived as an important element of Hmong Timor community. Accordingly, the family and communities have been encouraged to raise their consciousness about health issues, especially related to the respiratory infection. A well-designed health education program about the effect of Sei tradition on maternal infant has been implemented. Getting help from the community, some families have already used healthy traditional houses, Umeka Bubu, that have enough light and more ventilation. Next. As we already know the lesson learned and how is the implication. The district health department and public health center office have gotten comprehensive information about the effect of Sei tradition on mother and her baby's health, especially the air quality measurement. For the Ministry of Health, result from this study has been used as an input in central program policy to restraining Sei health impact on newborn baby. For the local government, result from this study has been used as an input in establishing an intervention plan to decrease and mortality of newborn baby caused by SAY tradition. Next. Yeah. And how about the community? They get benefit from understanding better about the community empowerment program of this effect of SAY. The media has been widely used in the process of community empowerment and understand about making prototype of healthy umek kebubu rumah bulat sehat. So I conclude my presentation that trying several approaches to determine those that best suit the local wisdom can help you experience more with collaboration in the future. Thank you very much. I pass my time to Ibu Moderator. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Mrs. Rahmalina. It's very interesting presenter. The last speaker is Dr. Philippus Newe, who has an interesting experience in controlling malaria using a local approach. Dr. Feli, time is yours.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Waduh. I'm sorry. Yeah. The background or our research start background. With the healthcare in rural areas, borderline cities and island have been one of the national health development priorities since 2010. According to Bapenas, today the disparity is still found among regions and socioeconomic concerning health status in Indonesia. There are several strategic issues from limited transportation network, unequal spread of population in island, low quality of local human resource, and many more. So the importance of community empowerment, including increased partnership with private sectors. Next. In Indonesia, the prevalence of malaria 22.9 per 1,000 of the population are at risk. With the eastern part of Indonesia, the prevalence of malaria is as seen on the screen. Now, in Bangka Belitung, the prevalence of malaria is 91.9 per 1,000 inhabitants. Next. The effectivity of Bacillus thuringiensis H14 or BT is bred in coconut that have been incubated at room temperature for 14 days to coconut Anopheles SP larva starting from day 1 after stocking with larva that 81 to 100%. 14 larva dead, 69.30% to 76.71%. A coconut can be an alternative local media to breed the BTH14 with the most suitable approach in areas consisting of island to prevent malaria is community empowerment. Next. Di Indonesia, a tropical country rich in natural resources, making it highly possible to find new local strain of BTH14 from the results of soil habitat isolation. The BTH14 can grow in coconut water media and effectively control Anopheles aconitus and Culex and Aedes aegypti. Next. Central Bangka is a region endemic to malaria with excessive use of insecticide to control factor is minimalized as it brings harmful seed effect to worker, the community and the environmental, and now shift to biological entity. A biological entity that can be used effectively as mosquito larva control is the pathogen BTH14. Next. The general objective to develop community-based model intervention of vector control with our specific objective are to develop a malaria vector control technology with larvacity approach in coconut through community empowerment and explore community acceptance of the malaria vector control technology. Next. Next. The conceptual framework in biodiversity by developing the community that will breed BTH14 local larva in coconut, then teach the community with skill on how to breed it, the biological and physical factors of the location made the application and breeding of BTH14 by the community being accepted. This leads to decrease the density of larvae and mosquito that leads to lowering the chance of malaria. Next. How to breed to the BTH14? First rib to the coconut, then embryo to the point with 70 to 90% of alcohol, make a hole on the top, then put 1 to 5 milliliters and BTH14 in cotton, and finally cover it with wax. Next. The result? The process of trial activities first with community empowerment trial and community action using Salatiga. Next. Bacterial culture trial activity consists of meeting with the community, production of bacterial breeding, distribution of Bacillus bacterial culture media, observation of larva density, and distribution of BTH14 local larvae. Next. Meeting. First, we held a meeting of a debriefing on malaria, its vector and control effort with the community. Over 30 people joined as consisting of villager and official. We did this. We did training regarding how to breed, store, and spread the BTH14. After that, the participants are provided with necessary tools and equipment to do so. Next. Once the meeting was over, the production starts with the participant immediately practice making bacterial culture on the coconut. As can be seen at the picture, a process of it after it's all done, the coconut are left for several nights. Next. Several nights have passed, then the community start distributing the bacillus bacterial culture media into the selected pools as seen in the picture that the community are heading toward the pools. Next. Yeah. The observation of larva density was conducted by using the dipper with a volume 350 milliliters randomly at each pool. The collected larvae were counted and placed on plastic baking sheet, then returned to the pond. It was carried out from 1 to 2 days before the application. The larva density was observed 15 days after the application. BT H4 14 larvae in coconut is assessed the density of larvae as Anopheles is P. Next. Yeah, next. Yeah, so what the lesson, we have learned, the community acceptance of innovative bacterial breeding in coconut is closely like to program is exacting health centers, particularly regarding community empowerment. Now, the community's sole involvement is in insecticide treat mosquito net program and was not yet extended across sector collaboration. The plan of action for community activities is developed by the public health clinic, which is then submitted to the health office for assessment and approval. The community is highly enthusiastic and willing to engage in malaria prevention and control community effort region. Everett Rogers said the trial can gain public acceptance in the context of our research if coconut breed bacteria is proved to be beneficial to the community economy, physiological, socially, and other aspects. Next. The conclusion is our research, the community is eager to participate and utilize the technological innovation of Salatiga BTH14 isolate on coconut. Even if it's still in the testing phase, the stakeholders have received and support and use and technological innovation BTH14 Salatiga isolate on coconut. Our suggestion with technological innovation BTH14 Salatiga isolate in coconut can be implemented in malaria endemic island areas, particularly in region abundant with natural resources, which such as Bangka Belitung province. This can be achieved especially cross-sector support and community involvement and facilitating and community empowerment process. Next. Before I end our presentation, I would like to leave you with a quote of inspiration and motivation from Margaret Mead. She said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. In fact, it's the only thing that ever has." That quote reminds us that we have the power to make a positive impact on the world, no matter how small our group or effort may be. Thank you for your attention.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Feli. Very interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, all our speakers have presented their studies. I hope this presentation have provided you with valuable insight and lesson from Indonesia. Uh, from the audience, do you have any question for them?
Udah.
We have 15 minutes allocated for the Q&A sessions. Please type your question in the chat box, or for those attending in person, feel free to ask directly. Okay. I think I already got 3 questions from the audience. The questions for Dr. Roy. The question is, can telemedicine be applied in the outcomes area? And what are the biggest challenges? Please, Dr. Roy, to answer the question directly.
All right. Thank you very much. In this country, we have Permenkes or minister law concerning the conducting telemedicine service between health facility, particularly in the remote health facility, which is from hospital to the puskesmas or community health center. However, I think we're just ongoing process. There is a sample case in the hospital in several provinces in Indonesia, particularly hospital belong to Minister of Health. They are already set up the equipment and then training the human resource between the health facility for improve the health service. However, for small island, I think it's going to take times because this country started from province level to the sub-district level or to puskesmas. So we not move to the puskesmas and then reach to the very small island to the auxiliary center. So it's going to take time, but we are on ongoing progress to implement telemedicine in this country, as moderator asked to me. So we have already a regulation number 20 year 2000 year 2019 concerning conducting telemedicine service between health service, but the implementation is still an ongoing process.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Roy, for your answer. And continuing question for Mrs. Rahmalina. You have 2 questions. Number 1 is, what are the biggest difficulties and challenges when adopting a local culture approach in engaging in your study based on your experience? And number 2, how you promote local public health center to develop their own health promotion, leaflet, and poster, as there is no doubt many community health center download from Ministry of Health for their health promotion media. Okay, time is yours, Ibu Rahmalina.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Wahyu. I will ask the first one. The first one is, the biggest challenge in my study is dealing with a very strong culture and tradition that inherited from generation to generation. That's why using several approaches is our challenge, especially by using based on their local wisdom. And the second questions I will ask, I'll try to answer that. Local public health center can promote their own health promotion rather than downloaded the media from the Ministry of Health. But first, they can lead health center as we should lead health center aware and explore of their problems by themselves, and then they can develop the media along with community based on local wisdom, local resources, and using local language, which which more easily understand by local community. That's it. Thank you, Ibu Moderator.
Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Rahmalina.
Yeah.
And the last question for Dr. Feli, based on your research, who is the key person to effectively utilize coconut trees to control malaria? To scale up this utilization, is engaging stakeholder mandatory or is community involvement sufficient? Time is yours, Dr. Feli.
Thank you for the question, and we will try to provide an answer. In our opinion, the effective key figure for controlling malaria in an area is the community. All communities who work together to eradicate mosquito nets or PSN, pemberantasan sarang nyamuk. Apart from the community, other key figures are community leaders or traditional leaders, religious leaders, and the regional government. Namely, the village and district government, which must be involved together or work together in an integrated manner to eradicate this mosquito nest. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Feli, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very interesting discussion, but unfortunately, time is over. If there is another question, we can continue our discussion through the email directly to the speaker. We hope after this winner conference, we welcome for further collaboration, particularly in the area rural and marginalized health issues, also global health in general. Thank you very much for your attention. See you in the next winner conference. Bye.